Hey folks, this is Steve Vai and you're watching CheckSound TV.
Hello Steve, welcome back.
Hello, nice to be here.
Okay, so it's been a while since you've been here for the last time, 2007. What have you been up to since then?
Well, in 2007 I put a band together and I did the String Theories tour and released the DVD on that. It was very fortunate, it was very successful, Where the Wild Things Are. And then I had done a lot of projects. You know, I had composed a couple of symphonies and did a couple of tours, Experience Hendrix tours and Zappa Plays Zappa. And so, you know, some various little projects. And then I woke up one day and said, wow, I better make another studio record. And then I started working on The Story of Light. And it took about a year and a half.
So this is your latest album. And I read that it has a connection with your previous album and it supposedly had a third part sometime, if you're willing to do it. Yeah. So what can you tell us about The Story of Light?
Well, my last studio record was Real Illusions, Reflections, and when I wrote that, when I was working on that record, I had an idea for a story that I wanted to express over a series of records, not necessarily obviously though, and then eventually bring the three records together in a quadrilogy that all the songs are in the right order. Maybe there's more lyrics in place of the melodies and narrative, so you can really follow it and follow the story. It's kind of, you know, it's nice being a musician because you know, artists can do whatever they want. You know, there's no real rules. So you can think about the craziest stuff and then if you're excited enough about it, you can work on it. It's very gratifying.
Okay, so it's been 5 years since you played this exact venue, the Aula Magna, and some people I know that were in your concert yesterday in Porto, they told me that the concert was amazing, pretty much 3 hours playing, and they also told me that you had an improvise with the audience. How was that? Oh,
it's really great. We call it Build Me a Song, and it was an idea I came up with before the tour, because I always like to add something interesting to the show that, you know, gives it a real personality. Something that the audience can. The show is very extroverted. You know, I don't sit there like this and just play for three. I mean, it's very dynamic. There's a lot of sections. So I came up with this idea to invite people on the stage and build a song and have them like sing a drum part. And it's easy. They can just go and then, you know, we make a drum part out of it and then have somebody play, you know, sing a bass part. And et cetera, and then we get a song out of it. It's really a lot of fun. It's funny too.
How did the audience react to that?
Oh, last night it was fantastic. I had this young boy on stage that couldn't even speak English, and he did great. And a lovely young lady that, you know, it was just funny. She wrote a melody for me. She sang a melody, and she was correcting me, and it was really great. A lot of fun.
So what can the audience expect for tonight's show?
Well, I like to make a show that gives people something to really be stimulated by, because, you know, they're taking their time and it's a long show, but you know, I don't want it to feel like a long show. So there's a lot of dimension. I want people to feel like they're seeing incredible musicianship, but not heady, introverted stuff that they can't relate to, you know. Some of it's very intense musically, some of it's just very intimate, you know, and we have a whole acoustic section. I have an electric harpist in the band, Deborah Henson-Conan. It adds a whole new dimension to the show, you know, and it's very much, I like to create a family feeling, you know, with the audience in the band. It's very uplifting, you know. I feel that when people leave, my job is to do my best to, you know, with the band, to give people something that makes them feel good, you know? I don't get up there and complain about how miserable my life is, you know? My life isn't miserable.
Okay. So during this year you were also touring with G3 with a lot of great guitar players. How was that?
G3 is always a fantastic adventure, you know? It's just so great. I mean, Joe and I go way, way back. We have a very special relationship. And whenever I can participate in the G3 tour, it's always an honor and a thrill. And right before this tour, we've been out for 4 months now, my band. And right before this tour, I was, a week before this tour, I finished a European tour with G3. And we did, you know, some Europe shows. We played in Russia and Kiev. And a month or so before that, we were in Australia. It was just fantastic. everybody that has ever participated in a G3 show always has their own individuality and unique voice on the instrument. And they've made great contributions. So there's no, you know, there's a feeling of camaraderie. And getting to play with these people, they really push you. They really push you. I mean, you have to deliver. You know, they inspire you to reach deeper into your own bag of tricks and inspiration.
Do you still learn from each other after all this time playing together?
Oh yeah, I can learn things from anybody. You know, anybody. You know, especially when you're playing with elite musicians in your field. I mean, you know, when you're with like the G3s, we all want to deliver the best we can. So when someone like, you know, like Joe does his thing, and it's his voice, you know, and then somebody like Petrucci or Yngwie or Eric Johnson, whoever's been on the tour, they do their thing, you know, you're compelled to do your best at what you do. You know, you don't copy each other. That's not what a G does, you know, because it's much more interesting to be pushed in your own dimension. And they really raise the bar.
About your master classes, you have, of course, a long career, a lot to teach many people. How do they react, the people that go there for your master classes, to pass the legacy on?
Well, it's always nice to feel like you can contribute something. And during the master classes that I give, I try to cover a lot of different things. You know, some of the basics, you know, technique, you know, tone, all of the things, you know, but I don't spend a lot of time on that stuff because you can find all that stuff all over. The things that I spend time on in the master classes are more esoteric principles, you know. When I look back at my career, there's certain things that really worked, but they don't necessarily involve my playing, you know. They were just mindsets. And, you know, there's a lot of questions kids have about, or musicians have about, how do I make it in the world? How do I get my music out into the world, you know? How do I find my own unique voice on the instrument, you know? Do I even want to be a musician, you know? And these are the things I address. You know, I know a lot about the music business. You know, I have a label for many years, you know, I know it very well. I like the music business. And I really feel that now, more than any other time in history, is the best time for an independent musician to make music and get it out there and take control of their intellectual property. I talk about stuff like that.
Of course, they can do music and they can put it out there, but the difficult thing is to be different, right?
Well, the difficult thing is to believe that you can be different and then to have the courage to find that unique quality in you. It's not difficult to be different for people who have no choice. You know, there's a lot of people, they don't know how to be the same, and it's easy for them.
What would you say to a young person that is starting now to play the guitar and whose objective is to be a great guitar player?
Well, I'd say find the thing that's most interesting and exciting to you about the guitar and about music, and then throw yourself into it.